Welcome to the No Name MMA Show. Welcome back, everyone, to the best damn MMA podcast you've never heard of.
Woo!
The No Name MMA Show. Thank you for joining us on this lovely July 6th, 7th?
No,
I don't know. It's Wednesday.
the 6th.
We're recording on a regular time, so the 6th. Thank you for joining us again. I am your co-host, Motivated Andy, as always, joined by my lovely other co-host.
No, not chat, Nina.
I'm not a co-host of myself.
Well,
or am I?
Two hosts is two co-hosts.
Right.
It's like co-managers.
Gotcha. Okay. We're running this Arby's to the ground.
I was thinking like Jim and Mike from The Office. Co-managers.
Gotcha. Okay. So off of that tangent, welcome back. Before we get into everything that was UFC 276, between Izzy's performance, which is not just Izzy's, takes two to tango, guys. Okay, come on. But before we get into any of that, before we get into the Battle of the Raphaels this weekend, let's talk about some of the things that went on this past weekend.
Yeah.
Babe, what's
been going on with me?
What did we do for 4th of July?
Yeah, so last weekend we had a nice long weekend, and hopefully you did as well. It was also a little extra special for me because it was the first weekend off after my big spring and summer wedding season, where I've had, I think, 15 weddings since March, which means 3 weddings a week, or 3 weddings a month, which is a lot for me. The most I've ever had.
Yeah, no, it was
and they
insane.
They were tough ones. So that was my first weekend off. Andy and I on Saturday spent the day riding roller coasters at Carowinds, which was super, super fun.
So for those, it would be like your Six Flags or your Disneyland or, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like...
Maybe
not a fair.
Disney. It's like a...
Well, not Disney, but like it's rides. And
it's kind of like a Knott's Berry Farm.
Well, Knott's Berry is like very
a little
kiddie.
bit more adult. So kind of like, it's like a combo between Knott's and Six Flags.
Right.
In the middle, sort of.
Yeah.
Because they've got Snoopy, which is very Knott's Berry Farm.
Anyway. Yeah, but it's mostly like, I don't know. It's mostly like big rides or whatever. It's our North Carolina and South Carolina's amusement park.
And it's got the fastest roller coaster on the East Coast.
I want to say the Southeast.
Southeast?
Right.
The Fury, which was insane. And I'm not a heights person, but the roller coasters were a lot of fun. Right.
So I think let me look it up, but I think the Fury at its top speed is like 94 miles an hour.
It's sickening. So we did that Saturday, and then Monday for the 4th, we went to our hometown minor league baseball game featuring the Cannonballers. And we had a good time. We had some friends join us, and then we watched fireworks.
95.
Oh.
So I was off by 1.
Yeah. Fury. Yeah. At Carowinds, 95 miles per hour at its fastest.
Yeah,
and it's basically that speed the entire time.
Yeah. You start off...
Maybe you get down to like 85 at one point, but that's about it.
I think the person on the intercom was like, yeah, you're going up like 320 feet or something up in the air.
It's freaking
And then
crazy.
It's just like a straight drop. It's dope. We did it twice.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had that.
You want to share what else happened on 4th of July?
Yeah, so, we went to the ball game. Just normal 4th of July antics. You go to the ball game, you chill, drink, have whatever. You have some hot dogs. And I had some hot dogs. The hot dogs seemed fine. They were tasty enough. They seemed like real Angus beef hot dogs.
This ballpark, too, is like brand new. It's an amazing stadium. It's
Guys,
so
if you don't
dope.
know, we just go to the best shit, okay? the fastest roller coasters.
Well, like, it's brand new.
It is.
That roller coaster, brand new.
Yeah.
Basically. This ballpark, brand new.
Like, straight brand new.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was just getting, hot dogs or whatever. And then there was fireworks after the game. I was feeling perfect, fine. We ended up going to my friend's house to kind of like I don't know, like, I don't know.
We all rode together. We got back
Yeah,
to his
we were
house
like
after.
decompressing after, going to the game. And like I used the bathroom and out of nowhere, that like that feeling, that like ball of sweat down the side of your face when you're feeling clammy, or that slight little like your mouth's a little too wet. That little just, oh shit, I might throw up. That hit me and then it just never fucking went away. And it was the gnarliest fucking food poisoning I've had.
Yeah.
In terms of like right off rip. Because it really was like I was chilling the whole day. And you could be like, oh, well, he was drinking because whatever. And I mean, I was drinking, but up until that point, like we started drinking water. Like we weren't really drinking like that, and we were
had
drinking
drinks like before the game, and then you and me bought
like way
one
before
beer
the game.
at the game,
right?
And I don't think either of us finished it.
I
didn't
finished
even get
mine
halfway through. You finished yours, yeah.
I finished mine. You had a Juicy J, which did not agree with you, which is fine, but I didn't drink that Juicy J. I just drank my Modelo.
Yeah, it was chilled.
All right.
And then we sat for like 3 or 4 hours without drinking.
Yeah, we were just like I was drinking. Yeah, like I had drank water. I had drank Gatorade because I was just like, Kevin, if you can get me a Gatorade, that'd be cool. So yeah, no, I just started just throwing up violently, and not only just throwing up, it was just like I was covered in like, just don't imagine sweat. Imagine just like a layer of wet on me. And this was the whole ride home from Kannapolis, where our friends and family are at, to our home in Huntersville, which is about a 40-minute drive. So the whole time I'm just like heaving, but you know how sometimes you dry heave after you've thrown up everything? That was me for like 30 minutes or something.
Yeah.
And then
had to make a couple stops there.
And then like even then, it like that's two things that you're like, okay, fuck it. Like you're throwing up, you're dry heaving, you have sweats, like you can kind of chill with that. But then I was getting like the cold chills, and that's what fucked me up the most. Mm-hmm. That's where it's just like, damn, I'm just never gonna be comfortable. Because if at least like while you're throwing up, like you're gonna stop sometimes. While you're sweating, you're gonna stop. You're gonna get hot. You're gonna get cold. But then it was just like whenever I wasn't experiencing those two things, I was just shaking because I was just like bone chilled cold. And Nina's just the best because she had to deal with my little bitch ass. Like it sucks so bad. I was just like in a little fetal position in the car.
Sad. Yeah.
And I was just like, I can't do anything. And I was commandeering the temperature gauges and stuff. So yeah, so for me, hot dogs at the Cannonballer Stadium is a no more pass go situation. Mm-hmm. Do not trust. Very sus.
We'll have to do sushi there next time.
No, we're just not going to do shit there.
They offer sushi. Yes, you heard that right.
So this place that can't even get hot dogs right offers sushi. So yeah, go at your own peril. But yeah, it was other than that, we went to Carowinds, and then we saw the fights, and then Sunday was pretty chill. What did we do Sunday? I feel like we just chilled. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sunday, and then Monday was Freedom Day, 1776 Day, America. Yeah, and I just threw my guts up.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty chill weekend.
Yeah.
But now that we're all wrapped up with that, off to Nina for the MMA Minute.
Okay. So, a baked Luke Rockhold explains why he takes mushrooms almost every day for UFC 278. Luke Rockhold has incorporated weed and mushrooms into his training camp this time. He's still a piece of shit, I think, but...
I think he's a piece of shit, but he's aware of it. You know what? I'm never gonna hate on somebody using psychedelics to get ahead in terms of a very physically active. It's not just being physically active. You gotta be in that mental state of being able to switch on and off
Yeah,
between being a normal person and like being a fucking animal.
Yeah.
So anything that helps you get that like mental, like just your mind right leading up to a fight, like anything you need that just give you a little bit of an edge, I'm all for. And I think that a lot of times you hear marijuana and you hear mushrooms, you think like, oh, they're being lazy or whatever. But guys, people microdose this shit all the time. And if he's doing it in a responsible manner, like, I'm very much looking forward to a Luke Rockhold that's doing shrooms all the time. I think a lot of athletes would benefit from doing some type of psychedelic throughout their camp, just so you can kind of. For me, it's a very ego like destroyer. Like it centers you. It kind of shows you like, hey, there's more to just you. Like everything can be so self-centered whenever you're taking everything else into account, that it kind of takes you out of that space of like, oh, what can I do? What can I do? It's like, but this is how it is. So even though I'm trying to figure out what it is. Even though the title of the segment is like Luke Rockhold smoking weed and doing shrooms every day, it's just like, well, I mean, if he's doing it for like recovery, if he's doing shrooms like actively, I just think that's the right move. That's the perfect right move. Especially if you're going to go in there facing Paulo Costa, who you already hate. Let's kill that hate and like really take apart Paulo Costa for his strengths and try to address that shit.
I think too, like, clearly I don't think Luke Rockhold's gonna be like high when he fights.
Right. He's not gonna be doing shrooms before the fight.
But he's also not gonna use it as an excuse like Paulo Costa uses wine. Like, I think shrooms and weed are healthier for you than alcohol.
Yeah.
And so I'm not like hating on that at all. I just think he's a piece of shit. So any chance I hear about him, I'm like, ew, Luke Rockhold.
That's fair.
Pedro Munoz, shares medical record to prove eye injury from UFC 276 bout against Sean O'Malley.
Man, we all saw the eye poke.
That was
And there was a big controversy after the fight because Pedro Munoz came out with a video where the wrong eye looked bad. The eye that was not poked looked like it was really, really...
They were both busted up.
Right.
Yeah.
But the wrong eye was the one that was swollen shut.
Got you.
So everybody was like, wait, which eye was it?
Yeah.
Why is that eye closed?
Yeah.
And he went on Ariel Helwani today and kind of explained the situation because everybody was trying to be a sleuth, like, oh, he didn't use a front-facing camera, it reversed the image, and blah, 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 this, that, the other. And he says that apparently whenever him and Sean were fighting, something happened with his nose that it wasn't quite right, and he blew his nose. Oh. And for people that don't know, if a fighter breaks their nose, I don't know what it is that causes this, but once your nose is broken, and if you know how it's gonna bleed, a lot of fighters,
it's gonna
what you want to do,
get that sensation to blow your nose.
Right, you're gonna want to blow out the blood, but you're not supposed to because your if you blow,
up and broken, it's gonna not go out.
Right, so the airflow doesn't go through the nose; it goes up into your eye. So if for a lot of newer fans, if you want to kind of see it real time, go look up Tony Ferguson versus Donald Cerrone. So Tony Ferguson kind of fucked up Donald, but as he was arguing for it, he blew his nose in between rounds and it ballooned his eye up.
Closing it shut so he couldn't see.
So they had to call the fight off. And he was even trying to push like the air out of his eye and stuff. But it's like it creates like a little tunnel for the air to go somewhere else. I think it's the blood
filling in. It's your sinuses are all connected like
I don't think it's blood. I don't think it's blood. I think it's like air. It's just like you're just blowing air instead of it blowing out. It's redirecting itself. Just because I have never seen somebody had to like suction blood out of there. I'm pretty sure it's just airflow. But you're not supposed to blow your nose if you've broken. You're not supposed to blow your nose if you've broken it.
Yeah.
Because that could happen.
Yeah.
So what he was saying is that after the fight, something happened. He blew his nose and then his eye just shut.
Yeah.
Which, fine. My problem is that you guys got to keep in mind, he's getting himself in a cage. This man has fought Aldo.
Yeah.
This man has fought everybody, the who's who of bantamweight.
Yeah.
Do I think he wanted a way out? I think he didn't want to be in a fight where he can't see.
Exactly.
And that's all there is.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's unfortunate. I bought a pay-per-view this time around, so I'm out that performance. People that went to see the fight.
I mean, he's out all the money for his camp.
Right.
Like, he didn't want to obviously call it either, but if you can't see, you can't see.
You can't see. And
if one eye is poked and the other eye is so swollen shut that you can't see, and you really just can't see why you want to be out there.
And I get it. But, I mean, if you really want to talk about it, he did win the first round. I think everybody kind of gave it... He was just spamming leg kicks, whether they were landing, getting checked, or not landing. He was just spamming that shit.
Right.
But Sean really didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So he won the first round. If you want to put it in that perspective, does it matter? No.
Yeah.
Should this fight get rematched? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that a cage fighter is finding a way out, especially after getting... And my thing is that after the fact, he gets pushed by everybody to be like, no, you were wanting a way out. And he has to, like, go out of his way to show, like, hey, I actually had a scratched cornea.
Yeah.
To validate why he had to get out. Like, he shouldn't have to validate shit.
Yeah.
If he tells the ref multiple times, I can't see, it's going black and out. It's black out. Like, it's coming in, out. Sometimes I see black, sometimes I don't. I can't see right. You expect that guy to go back out there with one of the best strikers per a lot of people?
Yeah.
Like, what are we going to do?
Right.
Like, he gets knocked out, then we're going to be like, what? Oh, the eye poke. We're going to be talking about the eye poke, and it's like, oh, he should have probably called the fight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, let's just move the fuck on and be rational adults and just go, maybe it didn't work out. Maybe they called the fight. And that is what it is.
Right.
It sucks. It's not the result that anybody wanted, obviously. But... And also... I didn't like Sean O'Malley celebrating. I don't like fighters celebrating after they fuck up their opponents and not the right way.
Yeah.
I just don't like it. Like Yair Rodriguez after Jeremy Stevens. And I hate Jeremy Stevens.
Right.
I despise Jeremy Stevens.
Yeah.
But after he poked his eye, he starts blaming Jeremy.
Yeah.
Like, no, don't blame the fighter.
Yeah.
Like, blame yourself.
Right.
You caused this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just didn't like any of that. I don't like that Peter Munoz felt he had to do that.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't know. It's just...
not a good look for anybody.
It's not a good vibe for the fans to be claiming a fighter is lying about shit.
It's not a good look for anybody. Yeah.
Right. Just all around, just not a good look. For something that was an accident.
Yeah.
Even he goes out there, he's like, Sean O'Malley didn't mean to do it.
Obviously.
He didn't mean to do it. It happened.
Yeah.
And he said he was sorry.
Yeah. It's not like there was multiple accidents in this fight either. It's not like that,
But, yeah, I don't know. I just didn't like that shit. Hey, but he got actually hurt, so yeah. It's all...
Recovery, rest well.
Yeah. Good luck, Pedro.
After much-needed cage time, Dricus du Plessis wants Kevin Gastelum fight rebooked.
Sure.
Yeah.
He had a pretty good fight this past weekend against Brad Tavares.
Yeah.
Showed out. Gassed out super quick.
Yes.
Was throwing with fucking everything. So, yeah.
But he did good.
Yeah, he did good. A good fight with Kelvin Gastelum will push him up there. But yeah, if he goes out there and fights like that, Kelvin, despite his size in that weight division, can be a really good fighter. Yeah. So, if Dricus goes out there to try to get a KO like he did this time around, and Kelvin starts to wrestle him, I think it's going to be a very bad scenario for Dricus. Just because imagine if he goes out there, swings for the first round, and then gets tired and can't do shit for round 2 and 3. Kelvin's just going to fucking rush you.
Yeah.
That's all he's going to fucking do.
Right.
So, yeah, good luck.
Cerrone put down his gloves and plans on enjoying his retirement. He plans on drinking beer, having a belly so big that he can't even see his own dick. Go for it, cowboy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love Cowboy. I'm sad that he retired the way he retired. I wish he would have been on a main event just because his retirement speech did get kind of, cut short.
Yeah.
He did lose. He lost to Jim Miller.
Yeah.
But a lot of the rhetoric leading up to it did not inspire confidence.
Yeah.
Him saying, I want another 5 fights to make it a 50.
I mean, we were saying before we watched the fight, win or lose,
You gotta retire.
I hoped he put his gloves down because we like Cowboy. We don't want to see him like ruin his life either.
Mm-hmm.
And he was at that point. So I'm glad that he did. And good for Jim Miller for giving him the time to kind of like talk when he was the winner and was do the interview time with Rogan. And so class out the ass there.
Yeah.
But
props to Jim Miller.
Yeah.
Jim Miller's such a fucking savage.
He looked so good out there too.
He, after the fight, goes on the post-fight press conference. He's like, you know what? There's a lot of fights at 170 I would like. He fights at 155. That motherfucker is crazy. He's going to fight at UFC 300 somehow. Age 40, he's going to fight UFC 100, UFC 200, and somehow UFC 300. Fucking bananas. Jim Miller's a goat.
Khabib Nurmagomedov loves an Islam. Help me always with his last name. Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira in Brazil. He predicts Makhachev will finish him with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu style. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Sorry,
I don't think so. We gotta... I understand that Islam is very scary. He's a very good wrestler.
I do want to see Alexander Volkanovski fight Charles Oliveira.
We'll be getting into that. I just think that Islam, we gotta understand,
on,
like the biggest, the best challenge that Islam had was Dan Hooker.
Oh.
Dan Hooker.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was, a last-minute 30-day replacement with Dan Hooker having no coaches after fighting 30 days before.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. There's just a lot of unknown for me with Islam. I get he's a great striker, but he's just not tested enough.
Yeah.
And, yeah, he might go out there and maul the next opponent that he gets. If it's Oliveira, I don't know about that, but I don't know. It's just, there's different levels. And Bobby Green is not that level. Dan Hooker is not that level. The guy he fought before them was not that level. Thiago Moises, he wasn't even ranked. He got ranked because of that fight. Yeah. So I'm still having my reservations.
Yeah.
Especially with all this confidence about having to go to Brazil. You're going to go to Brazil with Oliveira? You think Oliveira's going to lose in Brazil?
I don't think so.
And you're going to beat him jiu-jitsu style? Khabib has had some pretty bad takes, but this is pretty, I don't know. That's a tough fucking ass for Islam. Islam's like, dude, shut the fuck up, man. Yeah. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't want to fucking
go to I don't want
to go to the favelas, bro. Take me to Saudi Arabia with the good shit, with the fucking Ferrari cop cars. We're gonna be going to Rio and some shit. Like, nah. Fuck that.
Yeah, Kayla Harrison on her ESPY nomination says, we're in a new era and I want to be the spearhead for it. Congratulations to Kayla Harris on that.
She's fucking delusional. Your fight that you just fought, the fighter was 12-12-1. That was the record of the fighter you won. I just don't want to hear it. The thing that bothers me the most about Kayla Harrison is not even her. She's doing her job. She's going out there and winning, right? She can't help the competition that gets put in front of her. It's the people that validate.
Yeah.
They go, oh, she's fighting like a judo master, a blah, blah, blah master. Cool, that's not MMA.
Yeah.
Not MMA. It's different. There's levels. There's certain things you can do in those high-level competitions that you can never do in an MMA match. So that's why that relevancy is not there. The MMA record that they have is the MMA record that they have. I don't give a fuck if they're a judo, fucking bronze Olympian, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
It's the MMA record. And the MMA record dictates that they're fucking 500 fighters.
Yeah.
Not even a winning record.
Yeah.
And we're praising somebody for railroading. Like, Just imagine if I go around knocking out kids. Like, yeah, it is completely different scenario. But imagine if I was training MMA for 5 years, going against somebody that had a particular like good thing,
Yeah.
but didn't start training MMA until just now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna probably go ham on people like that.
Yeah.
So in that same regard, it's like you're fighting new people. Just don't. You're not Rhonda. You're not Amanda. You're not Chris. You're not Rose. You're not Carla. You're not JJ. You're nobody. I'm sorry. And if you think you're gonna be spearheading this new generation, like fucking, you need a fucking reality check.
Yeah. Moving on. Jessica Rose Clark anticipates elbow surgery, says Julia J.
Storyalenko.
Thank you. Held amber after tap at UFC 276. Held armbar, sorry.
Possible. I don't know. There was a lot going on, and then after the arm broke, I saw her let go.
Yikes, that was scary.
So, I mean, that sucks. She seems in great spirits, though.
Yeah.
She just put a video of her, like, sparring before the fight, and she's like, can't wait to get out there after my elbow gets fixed. Hopefully I won't be fighting a black belt. Like, that is crazy after getting your elbow popped out.
Yeah.
The time is 9 for Jessica Rose Clark, though. Wrong age of 35. Just coming off a loss. 12-8 record, I think. So, I mean, no spring chicken. MMA vet.
Yeah.
Jessica Eye's gone, so you can't fight her anymore. That's the kind of situation we're in with Jessica Rose Clark. I don't know. She's a nice person. And a lot of guys simp over her because she has boobs. So, I don't know. I'm hoping she makes a speedy recovery and, I don't know, fights a striker.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Don't break that other arm.
Yeah. Brian Barberina scores standing TKO on Robbie Lawler during UFC 276.
Yeah, I mean, that was an easy call that those motherfuckers were going to deliver a fight of the night.
Yeah.
And oh my God. Robbie Lawler goes out there showing everybody, hey, I'm Robbie Lawler. Don't sleep on me. Beating up Brian Barberina in the first. Straight beating him up. Out of nowhere, Brian Barberina just gets a fucking second win
out of nowhere.
After like the first minute of getting beat in the second round.
Yeah, mind you, after having his ass kicked.
Right.
Yeah.
And this was like, and it was still happening.
Fight. I know.
And then out of nowhere, he's just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to hit Robbie.
I mean, it looked like it was going to be a standing KO for one of them.
Right.
And it just happened to slip onto Robbie. Way. Yeah.
And yeah, no, after like another minute into the second round, he hits Robbie and something switches. He's like, fuck it, I'm just going to go. And then he starts like throwing elbows, and he's like, after the fight, he's saying like, I envisioned that elbow. I thought about that elbow landing on Robbie Lawler and finishing him with it. Like, that is what I manifested in my head. So I'm so happy for him. Gastonia native, NC represent.
Woohoo!
Brian Barberina calls out, why am I forgetting his name?
Who did he call out?
He called out Santiago Ponzinibbio. So Brian Barberina's dad is Colombian. And he's just like, hey, fuck it, let's do it for UFC Latin America. Let's go to Colombia and put on a main event.
Bam Bam time.
Bam Bam versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. That seems like a fun fucking fight at 170. But yeah, what a fucking match.
That was good.
Yeah.
And that's it for the MMA Minute. It's time. Go on, boo.
All right. So now we are 4 fights where Israel Adesanya has had quote-unquote technical wars, otherwise known as snoozefest.
Literally, Andy and I fall asleep at the end of every Izzy fight these days.
Do we consider this being the new normal for Israel?
100%. I don't expect anything different anymore.
Do you think he's just going to go out there and just like do what needs to be done to win?
Yeah, until maybe he does fight Alex
Periera?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
until he gets with like a super aggressive kickboxer or someone who's not afraid to come at Izzy.
To
trade, yeah. I think we'll see Izzy trade if he's challenged in that way, but Izzy's only ever going to play it safe and like keep his belt close.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, so off that note, do you think the hatred is warranted for Izzy? For this being a boring fight?
The hatred for Izzy?
Yeah.
Like from the fans?
Yeah.
I mean, no, not really. Like, I do see where it's annoying because he did walk out to holding an urn of ashes, like, of his opponent, and he always is like
walking
so
out to the
theatrical to that
intro.
Stuff. So when you don't get like that kind of fight, it's kind of disappointing.
Right.
But like, I mean, he's still beating them. It's just not flashy and exciting and fun.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for me, I don't think it was very much of an issue of him not. It takes two to tango.
Yeah.
And Jared Cannonier, leading up to the fight, I thought Jared Cannonier is going to fight the same fight that he fought with Robert Whittaker, and he's going to get knocked the fuck out. Because Israel is better than Robert Whittaker. Instead, he does not charge, he does not use his power, he stays on the outside, and Izzy does what he has to do to get the win. Granted, am I pissed off about it? No, it's fine. Does it matter? No. He's still going to get the bag. He's still going to get the super fight with Alex Periera.
Excuse me. Sorry.
But in the grand scheme of things...
Sorry.
Yeah, you're going to need to stop doing that.
Sorry.
Bless you. In the grand scheme of things, though, maybe don't say that you're going to have an amazing performance.
Yeah.
Maybe don't walk out to the Undertaker intro while carrying an urn with your opponent's name on it.
It's so funny, though.
Like
I mean, that's
like in
the
hindsight,
most entertaining part of his fights is his walkout.
Like, in hindsight, it just seems so stupid that it's kind of like, oh, you did all this.
I love that, though.
To have a 25-minute sparring match.
Yeah. Kinda. I think it's so funny, though, because I'm like, fuck yeah. But then, I mean, like, I've been feeling like this ever since that Yoel Romero fight. Like, I expected Yoel Romero to come out and, like, hash, and he didn't. Izzy didn't. And I feel like that's kind of like the pattern that we've been seeing from the champ for a while now. So,
well, we gotta look at what he does. He's a counter-striking kickboxer, just like Valentina. Yeah, Valentina did get a knockout.
Yeah.
Like, it happens, but for the most part, they're a counter-striker. They like to stay at length because they kick so much.
He's not worried about finishing a fight.
Right.
He's happy to let it go to decision. Yeah. And that's just not fun to watch.
Yeah, and it is what it is. I mean, he has nothing to be upset about. He did it. The biggest issue with me is his handling of the fans calling his fight boring. Because it was.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be upset at people.
Just be like, sorry.
Yeah, like, yeah, sorry, not sorry. Like,
I wanted my money.
I think
I think
a lot of it affected his ego. Because, again, you did it to yourself. You, on the lead up to this, all you were saying is just watch. I'm a feast. Just watch. I'm going to destroy him. I'm going to, like, just tear him apart.
Yeah.
You did it. And then, like, it's not on the fans to stay for a performance like that. Call it what you will. That fight was boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did go to sleep, but mind you, we were
up all day.
We went to an amusement park. We watched the full prelims. It was the very end of the night, and yeah, that fight was boring. It is what it is. We sometimes don't make it for a lot of main events because we're watching the prelims. We're doing shit all day.
Yeah.
And it's at the end of the night.
Yeah.
So if you have a boring fight, yeah, we're gonna fucking go to sleep. It just is what it is. But, like, being pissed that the fans leave midway through your fight, okay, do something different. Be, like, coming at the fans and the media saying, I can do your job, you can't do mine. Okay, where's Jared's ashes, bro? Like, It's just the expectation and the
delivery is
the
different.
delivery and also the rhetoric afterwards.
Yeah.
Like him having to respond to Chris Pratt. Like, what? Chris Pratt says, and I quote, he's like, "I'm not a fighter. I'm humbly just an actor. I have seen enough MMA to be like, hey, maybe don't go out there and talk so much shit that you put yourself in the corner to deliver this amazing performance, and then you go out there and do that." Like, when I say that, I mean, you never put yourself in a position to get hurt, which means you never really engage in a fight.
Yeah.
Yes, it is 50-50, but guess what? Jared Cannonier was not going around saying this was going to be like a banger.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't saying shit. But that's your dance partner. Mm-hmm. Like, he didn't sell that fight whatsoever. Mm-hmm. So yeah, blame him for that, and blame him for the half of the performance as well.
Yeah.
But he didn't say it. He didn't put it out there.
This keeps happening.
Yeah, this is not the first. It won't be the last.
It won't be the last.
It's just, I wish Izzy had more thick skin.
Yeah.
You're a fucking cage. You're one of the baddest motherfuckers on earth.
Yeah.
Why do you give a fuck that we rag on you about your bad, shitty Ulsa joke?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you care so much that, like, you care so much about, like, proving to everybody that it doesn't matter what your sexuality is, that you go ahead and you get your fingernails painted just to prove a point that nobody gives a fuck about. Like, you're doing all this as a reaction to everything else because you're so sensitive. And you know what ultimately this reminds me of? That is fucking hilarious in my mind?
What?
It reminds me of John Jones.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that very sensitive part where he needs validation.
Yeah.
And if you were really that bad of a motherfucker, and you really didn't give a fuck about what anybody says, Chris Pratt, the fans, the media, you would just not give a fuck instead of responding and having retweets about this, that, the other, lashing out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you won. Mm-hmm. It was a boring fight, you won.
Yeah.
But good luck talking trash to the fans that bought your fight and then were disillusioned by your performance because you said you were going to show out and then you didn't.
Yeah.
Good luck trying to get another 400,000 pay-per-view, guys.
Yeah, and being defensive in that way is just a turn off. And it's like, okay, even you coming and clapping back is not going to change Dana's mind on how big your bag's going to be. Yeah. So, like, I mean, Dana's looking at who's selling tickets. And if you're not going to sell tickets like that anymore because you keep disappointing people, like, don't be defensive about it. Like, sorry, Charlie, that's just what it is.
Yeah, you're just not going to be put on International Fight Week anymore. You're probably going to be put on some bullshit-ass card with no other championship fighters because nobody's going to want to buy that.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, if you knew that a fighter has a lower than 20, like a 30% finishing rate, you're not going to want to see that. You're not going to want to see a 25-minute sparring match.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even hating on Izzy about that. It is, again, go out there and win. That's the name of the game. He went out there and won. But to anybody that is trying to be like, this was a technical war, it was a boring fucking fight.
Yeah.
Let's call it what it is, move the fuck on, and just do better next time.
Yeah.
But in terms of Izzy, like, he has nothing to be sorry for. I just wish he just didn't give a fuck like that.
Yeah. Haters gonna hate. Just do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
And own it. Like, just own it. That's
right.
Okay.
All right. So now, speaking about the pound for pound best fighter.
Ooh!
I'm getting goosebumps. Alexander Volkanovski goes out there and fucking railroads.
He was a zaddy out there.
Max Holloway.
Yeah.
Nobody does this to Max Holloway.
Nope.
50-45 across the board.
Right.
Did you think it was going to go this way?
I didn't.
And when did you realize, like, it's night's over for Max?
Quickly. I realized it was going to be over for Max, I feel like. I did not think Volkanovski could get all that much better than he already was. Mm-hmm. Like, I was confident that Volkanovski was going to beat Max for the third time,
Same.
honestly. I think we all kind of knew it.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, but we love Max. We're still going to, like, kind of hold out a tiniest bit of hope for him.
Right.
But, like,
we're
realistically,
seeing,
we know it's going to be Volkanovski.
Mm-hmm.
And Volkanovski's, to me, proven himself over Max.
Mm-hmm.
And this third and final fight between them, which I hope it is the third and final fight.
It is. Yeah.
I think he, like, literally, it was like in a video game, like an old school video game where they, like, hit a star and then they're like, boom, and they go extra speed. Like, Volkanovski improved even so much more when he was already the dominant, hands down champion. And he even, like, he would have kicked his ass a year ago, his own ass a year ago. He was that much 100%. Better. He was so fucking good, so sharp, so quick on his shit. So I'm excited, and I hope Volkanovski goes and gets that second belt. I mean, because currently there is no champion, right?
There is no champion. Charles Oliveira is number one contender.
Yeah. I think that would be a really crazy good fight.
A fun fucking matchup.
That would be a really fun matchup. And I mean, I don't know. If it's on the ground, I've got Charles. If it's kickboxing, I got Volkanovski.
Yeah.
It just depends on where that fight goes to and who can, like, keep it in their turf, you know, like, in that sense. But I like Volkanovski.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are using recency bias as the reasoning for his pound for pound, like being in the number one position. I don't even look at it as recency bias. Look at the performances.
Literally.
Like, yeah, Usman is knocking out people, but we're not going to compare Jose Aldo against Jorge Masvidal and say that they're even.
Yeah. No
Not
way.
the featherweight GOAT.
Yeah.
We're not going to say Max Holloway is on the level of Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And he beat Max Holloway 3 times. One so
Convincingly
very clearly that everybody had it 50-45. There was no question. And that's not even like Brian Ortega or Korean Zombie. Korean Zombie and Max Holloway, the last 2 performances that he had are as close to perfection as you can possibly have without... I mean, I don't even know what the stats are. I don't want to say he absorbed more than 10... Like, all right, the Korean Zombie fight, he didn't absorb more than 10 strikes. Max Holloway probably absorbed a little bit more, but it didn't look it. It did not look it, and it didn't matter. Yeah. It did not matter. Yeah. He was pulling a Max Holloway in there. He was the one saying, like, I'm too fast for him. You can't... And you know what the craziest thing is?
Who else did he fight? Calvin Kattar?
He
or
hasn't
did
fought...
Max fight Calvin Kattar?
Max fought Calvin Kattar and destroyed Calvin Kattar.
Yeah.
The craziest thing about this is after the win this time around, he was just like, now that I won, I can say this. During the second fight with Max, I was on melatonin trying to go to sleep. In the middle of the night, USADA, 4 a.m., comes knocking at my door, requires a sample, and that throws me off for the rest of the day leading up to the fight. And I think that was in Abu Dhabi.
That's
so
crazy. So
he was just like, yeah, like, I was shit out of luck in the worst possible position before the biggest day of my life.
And honestly, I thought Volkanovski won that second fight with Max,
I thought he won that second fight, too. And that's where he was just like...
closer,
right.
But, like, no, I still thought he beat him.
And he was just like, I didn't want to say anything.
I scored at him.
I didn't want to say anything, but I knew after that performance when I had won that time that I had Max's number no matter what.
Yeah.
Because if I literally beat you, I literally beat you on the worst possible day.
Yeah.
So I know with a full camp and not that bullshit, I'm going to destroy you.
Totally.
And Max is nothing but respectful. He goes out there is like, well, I got those 2 knockdowns. So we might need to run it again. And then he's just like,
just kidding.
Just kidding. Like, all respect.
Good
do
for
your
them.
thing.
Yeah.
And that's always how Max Holloway is going to be. That's why we love Max.
And honestly, like, Max and Volkanovski, I like their trash talk because they're both kind of backing it up. And then once it's over, they're like, all right, respect. Like, cool, thanks for a good fight. You know, like they both have a very mutual respect for each
Right.
other, and that's like what you want to see in champions, in former champions,
Right.
in number one contenders. And I like their camaraderie, and I like that they challenge each other like that. I mean, Max doesn't challenge Volkanovski as much as we kind of secretly hoped Max would be a bigger challenge for him, but
Yeah. I mean, he was just not after Jesus, not after like doing everything.
yeah.
There's just really nothing Max could have done, I don't think.
No.
But yeah, that's what I consider
It's destiny.
Volkanovski pound for pound number one.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, because of the last performance, just critically speaking, Kamaru Usman is still number 2. And Israel Adesanya is very much number 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's the next move for Max now? 155? We just have fun fights at 155 that don't mean anything?
I don't know. I really don't know.
I really don't know either.
What do you know? Like, because if you're not on a champion journey, like, what do you do?
Right.
I don't know.
Because guess who's going to be going up to 155?
Not when you're a former champion. What do you do? You know, like, it's not like Tony Ferguson, who clearly is just not going to ever be champion. But, like, I still want to see him fight. He's still working on, like, who he wants to fight next. Like, I don't see that for Max, but
I don't know. I hope he doesn't retire.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't.
He's newly married.
I would be perfectly okay if he did. In fighting terms, he has fought a full career.
Yeah.
Like, which is crazy because he just turned 30.
Yeah.
But I would be perfectly okay with him retiring. It would just be unfortunate. I think, 155 is the move. Do it healthy. Take your time. You just got destroyed, so it's not like you're in a rush to go back in there.
Yeah.
Take a year. Gain 155. Gain that 155 poundage. And go out there and do it right. Don't do it last minute just because you're getting a championship belt chance.
Yeah.
All right. So finally, for the last point, Sean Stickland goes out there and actually wants to stand and bang with Alex Periera. And he finds out that is not what you're supposed to do. You should have actually wrestled him.
Yeah.
And he gets knocked the fuck out.
Yeah. Alex
Periera is going to be fighting Israel Adesanya. I think that's a foregone conclusion at this point.
I think even at the press conference, before the fights, like that Thursday or whatever.
I think it was
Wednesday
maybe. Or Thursday, yeah.
He was saying, I'll take whoever wins out of you guys.
Do you think Alex Periera's experience in MMA will have any kind of bearing on the fight? Keep in mind, Alex Periera, I think, has 7 wins, 8 total fights in MMA. Yeah, he's a kickboxing legend, but this is different. Do you think with Izzy's style, there'll be a difference in the outcome? Keep in mind, Alex Periera has 2 wins, 1 KO over Izzy.
Yeah.
Izzy's going to tell you to watch the whole fight. It doesn't really matter because you got knocked the bulk out.
I think if Alex Periera is aggressive to Izzy and keeps it as a kickboxing match, he's got him.
Do you think Izzy gets the throne?
Potentially.
That's fair.
Potentially. I don't know. I could see this being who dethrones Izzy. But it just depends on if his like MMA intellect is there. Yeah. If he's like able to protect himself, if he's got good takedown defense, things like that. I think that'll play a big part in it, and I don't really know if he's got that. But if he plays to his strengths, he's got the confidence. He's already got Izzy twice. So, like, I think he really could potentially get him. And I think if he's aggressive, but he's smart about it, and he plays to his strengths, he could beat Izzy.
That's more than fair.
Yeah.
I think, he could beat Izzy. Obviously, those 2 kickboxing matches don't really mean that much in the grand scheme of things. It is completely different ballgame.
And how long ago was that, too?
Right. It was years ago. Yeah. So, I don't think it's that big of a thing that a lot of people are making out to be. You did get knocked out by him. Again, it's that Izzy mentality of like, oh, watch the whole fight, watch it. you just got knocked out, bro.
Yeah.
You're a fucking professional fighter that has had more than 100 fights. You're bound to get knocked out.
I mean, and Sean Stickland is a scary dude.
Yeah.
But to see him get hit, and you could see the fear on his face when he was like, oh, fuck, right before he got knocked out.
That is, honestly, that knockout was the tamest left hook knockout that Alex Periera I've seen in his MMA career.
Well, and you and Juan were like, watch this man knock out Sean Stickland. Like, you guys called it as a knockout from the very beginning and kind of like filled me in a little bit more on him. And I mean, Sean Strickland's a scary ass dude in that octagon.
Yeah, Sean Strickland can go fucking ham. He was no simp. He fell into the lull of, oh, you're not man enough to trade with him.
Yeah.
Instead of being, hey, maybe take this and, okay, he's a very good kickboxer. He's probably not going to be a good wrestler. Maybe his jiu-jitsu's a little off, even though he trains with Glover.
Yeah,
so maybe exploit the weakness instead of going to the strength of somebody.
Exactly right, yeah.
And he just went he just went straight ahead and found out that maybe you use your fight IQ and you don't do that.
IQ, that's what I was saying.
So that's where I think that was more of a fault of Sean Strickland. Does this fight play out the same way 10 times out of 10? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think this is a good learning point.
Totally.
For Sean Strickland. I think this is going to be a very good
change in his
perspective.
Yeah. And his training.
It's like you don't have to challenge everybody at their best.
Yeah.
You again, point to Izzy. You have to win the fight. Yeah. And you didn't do the right thing to win the fight.
And play to your strengths and play to your opponent's weaknesses.
Yeah.
Yep.
So lesson learned. You did it the worst possible way possible to learn this lesson. So hopefully it sticks.
Well, he really thought he was better.
Yeah.
And he underestimated his opponent.
He underestimated his opponent's striking, which, dude, come on. Yeah. I'm telling you, he had a guy out for 50 seconds flat, like face first, stiff. Like we were scared of death. So, yeah. Alex Periera is a bad motherfucker. And that is it for this week's show. And if I can say so, I do think it's our best episode yet. We wouldn't be here without you. We would love to talk shit with you, hear your thoughts, etc. Nina, baby, tell the people how they can reach us.
Yeah, so if you're on Twitter, hit us up at NoNameMMA1. Instagram is at no.name.mmashow, or send us an email at nonamemmashow@gmail.com.
Have a great rest of your week. Hopefully you guys are not as banged up as me after 4th of July. Talk at you next week after the Battle of Raphael's. This weekend, it'll just be me watching the fights. And yeah, investing in mental health. And as always, fuck you, John Jones. Later.
Call me I know what he calls you. Call me a fatherless bastard, dude.